confidence thing too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I need to get loose with it. You know what I mean?
And these, this is something you may have fun with.
Yeah, I'm
these
very
touch plates,
intrigued by them.
they're removable.
Yeah.
So you can, whatever your color scheme is that you're used to, you can take these different colors and you can play around and see what works.
No, it's
this works for me,
yeah.
but I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And I know there are 2 or 3 other.
Okay, so I had already made a note about that, like on my wish list. In a perfect world, I would say order this, and right alongside of my order, I would place an order for like 100 of those replaceable keys.
Sure.
But are they paintable? Like if I want to spray paint them with acrylic paint and paint them,
It's not going to last.
It won't last.
Now this is ABS, but I have them in white, in black, in blue, in we can make them any color you want.
Okay.
And if there's a demand for a particular shade, or I can even put skull and crossbones in the middle of it. You know, we can customize these.
Well, you see, the circle dead in the middle is about the same size as the circle of the chromatone key.
Right. Well, that circle is actually a dip.
Yeah.
And that's meant to accommodate the curvature of your finger.
Yeah. So I mentioned that because I don't know if you know that I use stickers on my chromatone.
You do, yeah.
So I use Avery detachable stickers.
Right.
Which is not the best solution because they only last about a month and then I have to replace them, right? But it's a good temporary solution.
It is. This, these markings here,
yeah.
This is actually an epoxy resin. It's used in the jewelry business.
Okay.
It's a 2-part epoxy, but it's a lot of work. This I do manually. I drill a hole, mix up a batch, put it in a syringe, and actually inject it with color.
Okay.
But this is permanent. This will never come out.
Okay. So, no, I'm glad you thought of this, because with this, you're thinking about how other people would approach the keyboard.
My original thought, I went into a studio where they had a couple of dozen keyboards laid out, and I saw masking tape all over these things. I don't know what they were using it for, labeling a voice change or something of that nature. And I thought to myself, how much more elegant is this than putting masking tape on a keyboard? Yeah. That was the original thought. And then there's the added feature that if somebody, for example, if you use this to teach a child and you want to teach them a 4th or a 5th or a particular chord or a scale, a teacher could eventually use these as a teaching aid.
No, that's an awesome idea. I'm always thinking about different coloring schemes because each coloring scheme can teach you a new lesson. So, for example, I'm currently using on the top 3 rows the trichromatic scheme that Roy Perchik developed.
You use minor thirds? Is that what you use?
Yes, it's interlaced minor thirds. I've never put it that way, but interlaced diminished 7th chords.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Because Roy Perchik feels this way, I feel this way. A few of us feel that diminished 7th chord is a way of looking or a gateway into a lot of powerful musical theory.
It is.
And it's become a huge part of how I play. But the point I'm trying to get to is I might get to a place 3 years from now where I say, I've gotten as many lessons as I'm going to get out of that scheme, and now I want to look at the board through another grid.
Exactly.
And your keys
gives you
enable you to do that. No, that's powerful. That's powerful because it's like it's a grid through which to view the same old information. And insofar as you have a new and powerful grid, you can get new insights into the same old instrument. So, you know, I applaud you on this idea. This is a really good idea. Pedagogically speaking, this is an awesome idea. So, so there's that.
You're gonna have to teach me some of that. what's the technical term for what you're playing there? They're called
Montuno.
Montuno?
Yeah. Yeah. Montuno. Right. So.
See, I feel on this type of a whole tone keyboard, the patterns you're playing are immediately recognizable.
Yeah, I mean, theory-wise, I'm not doing anything out of this world because a montuno is essentially an arpeggiation of a triad. Okay. Right. So I mean, there are very complicated montunos, more complicated than what I'm playing. But that's, for example, I'm playing an arpeggiation of A minor, right? So root, third, and fifth. Right. And then I'm accentuating with this dominant seventh, right? So.
And there's a very specific beat that it follows.
Yes, well, I'm showing you sort of pattern A1.
Okay.
Where it's just tuck, 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 tuck. So Montuno, being an Afro-Cuban salsa pianist, is essentially the art of taking something that simple and creating endless variation on it.
Do you actually make tutorials?
I do. I don't think I've ever done a Montuno tutorial per se.
You should think about it.
Well, if you look up the video I made, Omar Soriano fingerings.
Okay.
That video's not about that. But throughout the video, I use a Montuno to illustrate a point of better fingering.
Hands out.
Yeah.
On a multi-row keyboard, and I know you talked a lot about scales. The way I play a major scale is this way, thumb under.
Okay.
Once you have that pattern in your mind and in your fingers, the beauty of this kind of a keyboard is that it stays the same.
Yeah.
We use a select function. If you hit this and press a key and let go, it changes to an organ.
Okay. How many voices do you have right now?
There are only 4 or 5. We have the organ. I don't even have them labeled at this point.
Yeah.
It's another organ. Strings.
Well, I'll say this about voices, and you may want to get tons and tons of voices from a player perspective, or at least this player's perspective. If you're going to aim to make the thing sort of like those high-end pianos that don't have a lot of voices, you know what I mean?
Right.
You can get away with just 2 or 3 really good pianos.
Right.
2 or 3 really good electric pianos. Like I love a Fender Rhodes sound.
Yeah, I do too.
So, to me, any module I ever buy has to have a good Fender Rhodes sound.
Right. Well, in this case, we also have a USB from MIDI out.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you can use it as a controller to control anything you want. But if in other words, I'm trying to describe my desert island sounds.
Right.
I need a few strong pianos, a few strong Rhodes.
And a B3 would be nice.
A B3 would be great. A whirly would be nice. Sure. And that's it, because I understand it's meant to be played. Right. It's not a synthesizer. Right. So now we were talking off camera about what an interface might look like, and you mentioned you guys would probably go with like an LED screen.
Most likely. Well, we're in the process of trying to get feedback. They're going to universities, people like yourself, they really need to play it and tell me what the desired features are.
Here's one player's feedback, and take this and combine it with all the other feedback you're going to get, is I spent the 90s menu diving. And by menu diving, I mean having that little 2x10 character LED screen,
right,
and diving through all the parameters.
Sure.
If it's up to me, I never want to go back to menu diving ever again.
Right.
I'd rather have a few dedicated knobs.
Yeah, I agree.
So like if there was like a rotary knob right here that, for example, for selecting an instrument, like piano, piano 2, harpsichord, Fender Rhodes, B3, and I just selected it manually, that'd be better than any LED I'd ever, just personally. And I think a lot of players have gotten away from menus and they're like, just give us knobs.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe going both ways, having an LED on one side where you can go in and actually change the envelope and record yourself, split the keyboard into 2 or 3 different voices, but at the same time have a smaller function right here with maybe 10 pre-selected voices where you just press a button, it's piano, you press another piano,
that's what we were talking about off camera, like a favorites. Like a boom, that's my grand piano, or my suggestion would be, don't go feature heavy with the ability to alter the sounds. The reason is, somebody who acquires this instrument probably already owns a synthesizer. So if they want to sound design, they've got other places to do it.
They don't get a Lippens to do sound design. They can go MIDI out here to the MIDI import on their synthesizer and use
or on their DAW. They've got VSTs. In other words, I don't think people are coming to this instrument to do creative sound design.
I agree.
You know, they're coming to this instrument because the layout is... As a matter of fact, if you just went with this exact layout with half a dozen buttons or knobs more than what you've got and kept it nice and clean the way it is now, minimalist, I should say, that's all you need. Very nice. I should say this to, you know, to the people who are going to be watching this who can't feel but they can only hear. There is a very nice feel at the bottom there, right? So